You know how everywhere today we hear the phrase me time? Take time for yourself, prioritize yourself, don't forget self-care. And while that sounds nice, for many women it also raises a quiet question. Is me time really necessary or has it become a little overhyped? Because when you think about real life, many women are constantly juggling responsibilities, work, family, household, and sometimes community. And somewhere in between all of this, the idea of take some time for yourself can feel a little complicated, sometimes even unrealistic. Because when you finally get a free moment, the mind doesn't automatically relax. Instead, it starts listing things that still needs to be done. Reply to that message, plan tomorrow's schedule, finish that work, check on someone at home, and suddenly the idea of me time starts feeling like another task to manage. Now let's understand why the idea of me time became popular. Over the last few years, conversation around self-care have become much more common, and that's actually a good thing. Because for a long time, women were expected to simply keep going, taking care of everyone else while putting themselves last. So encouraging women to take a pause and care for themselves came from a good place. But somewhere along the way, the idea of me time also started getting packaged in a certain way. It began to look like spa days, vacations, perfect morning routines, long uninterrupted hours for yourself. And many women, when they see that version of me time, they quietly think that's not my reality. For many women, life doesn't allow long stretches of uninterrupted time. Let us admit it, responsibilities are real, work schedules are real, sometimes family needs are real. So the question becomes, if me time means a few hours away from everything, is it always practical? Maybe yes, maybe not. It all depends on the phase of life you are in, your circumstances, your environment, and most importantly, your support system. If any of this is not in place and you're struggling to manage few hours, then me time doesn't have to look like something dramatic or luxurious always. Maybe we can start simply with small moments of awareness and care, a quiet cup of tea before the day begins, a short walk without rushing somewhere, reading something that you enjoy, sitting for a few minutes without feeling guilty about it. Moments where you're not performing a role for someone else, just being with yourself. Now, why would these small moments matter? Because when women constantly give their time and energy to others, it's easy to slowly feel depleted. Not because they don't love what they do, but because everyone needs space to reset. Even small pauses can help restore energy, clarity, and patience. And sometimes those few moments are enough to help you show up better for everything else you're responsible for. So is me time necessary? Maybe the question isn't whether me time is necessary or overhyped. Maybe the real question is how we define it. Now, if we think of it as something big and difficult to achieve, it can feel unrealistic. But if we think of it as small moments of care, awareness, then it becomes much more possible. For many women, life will always include multiple responsibilities. But perhaps within those responsibilities, we can still create small spaces that belong to us. Not because it's trendy, not because someone told us to, but because caring for ourselves help us continue caring for everything else in our lives. And maybe that's what me time was always meant to be. And that's really what this space between us is about. Talking honestly about the things that women think about, experience, and navigate in everyday life. If you've resonated with this conversation, then subscribe to Wonder Woman Wednesday. Every Monday, we bring to you these kind of conversations that will help women navigate in everyday life. So stay tuned.